Hi everyone, I am Dr. KatherineT.Kelly, and the topic of this video is about what does the human condition have to do with the soul, and what does the soul have to do with the human condition? Now, because of the work I do, I'm a holistic health psychologist. I've been doing soul healing for over 20 years as well. And, my question is, what don't they have to do with one another? Because really, when you understand the soul, you understand what it is and how it interacts and what it's here to do, you understand that really the human condition is all about how the soul does or doesn't do well in this lifetime. And so, the human condition and how we manage it has all to do with our soul's evolution. And our soul's evolution has all to do with whether or not we are doing our healing work, whether we're doing our emotional work, whether we're doing any work whatsoever in order to get to a different place. So I'm going to walk you through some different aspects of why it is so related. And, first of all, it is related to everything. So I've been doing a lot of conversations with people about where the soul is, how it works. And this is really, very much in all of the training that I do, a lot of the therapy work I do, a lot of the soul healing work I do. But I help people understand that it is part of everything. It is part of every thought that we have. And what we've experienced in the past is influencing us as a soul and a human. It has everything to do with all of our behaviors. So, what are our habits? What it is that we are programmed to do, and what are our behaviors that we struggle with? All these kinds of things, they're all laced with the basically the information of the soul. So every thought, every behavior, every reaction, particularly reactions, what we react to shows us almost directly, it points a finger at basically where the wound is, what it is that is triggering us, what is it that's getting our attention from that emotional side. So every thought, every behavior, every action, every emotion, and emotions are messages from our soul. Every emotion that we have is some sort of message, some sort of alert that there is something that's either misaligned or something that needs attention. So when we think about how the soul influences us as humans, it very, very, very much is about everything. Now, I'm going to break it down a little bit more to health, to relationships, as well as to career and work kinds of things. So, when it comes to health, boy, now this is a big topic. So, a lot of health concerns have to do with the mind body connection. Well, the mind body connection is actually the mind body soul connection because your mind and your body work together. In other words, one of the ways that I explain this is that if we have an unresolved emotion or we have some sort of emotional wound, it is going to land in the body somehow. It is going to show up. A lot of people have stress headaches. A lot of people have backaches. A lot of people have lower limb issues. A lot of people have blood disorders. A lot of people have diabetes. And there's all these different things that are happening. And yes, there is a biological component because that is us as humans. It shows up in our bodies, it shows up in the physicality of who we are. But oftentimes you can go a little further or a lot further to help people understand that a lot of their physical concerns or wounds or illnesses have a psychological component, which means that they always have a soul component as well. There are actually several authors out there that help you understand the mind body connection. And I take it further to help people realize that it could be that there is a lesson you're supposed to learn from having the illness. It could be that the illness is a result of unresolved kinds of things. It depends on the person, depends on the situation. So it's sometimes hard to pin down if you don't know what you're looking at. But health concerns are almost always soul based in one way or another. We talk about relationships. You've seen some of my videos before, probably, that I very, very much believe that humans are here to interact with other humans to learn and grow, because what pushes our buttons the most, it is other humans on this planet. It is other kinds of relationships we have, whether it's a partnership, an emotional partnership, an intimate partnership. It could be a business partnership. It could be sibling issues. It could be problems with our parents. It could be neighbor issues. It could be anything. But humans are complicated beings. And so, from a sort of existential perspective, we are here to push each other's buttons so that we can get each other's attention and do the healing work that we're supposed to do. So, for example, I very much believe that the male and the female genders are here to do certain things. And currently, in our current era, one of the things that the males and females are supposed to do is that males are supposed to basically teach women how to be more assertive, and women are supposed to teach males how to be more sensitive. Because if you think about the dynamics that go on, it's all about that. It's all about women having to speak up for themselves or assert themselves or set boundaries. And men, it's about becoming more sensitive. So once we meet in the middle with those lessons, everything gets better. But it's the evolutionary process of getting there that is sometimes the hardest thing to work through. But it's also about, gosh, the relationship issues that we have, pushing our buttons, hurting us, teaching us what it is that we need to do to heal. So relationships are all about the soul as far as I'm concerned, because any relationship I know is here to help us evolve. It's here to help us evolve beyond what we used to do, what we used to think, what we used to believe, and evolve into something new. So every aspect of relationship is about the soul as well. What about career and work? Well, if you know my soul health model, you know that there is a specific branch that is about intellectual or occupational wellness. What if we are in a job or a career that doesn't fit who we are? Well, then we are going to be misaligned from that need of our soul in that way, and it's going to disrupt every other branch on that tree. What if we have a challenging boss? And maybe it's in a career we love or a career we don't love. Well, that boss is part of that intellectual wellness. So you're having the relationship part of the lesson, but you're also having the career part of the lesson. You're supposed to be really looking into what you're supposed to be evolving beyond, either in the career situation, the actual job situation. And so the thing I try to remind people of is that the experiences we have on the outside are there to help us evolve on the inside. So if you are misaligned in your work, well, then your job is to figure out what would align you more. And that can be a lifelong kind of lesson, because we have life purposes, we have soul purposes, we have all these different things that are woven into this. But the point of this is that, the human condition, anything we struggle with in the human condition is always, 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 always underlined, bold print, flashing lights, always related to the soul in some way, because it's about how we evolve or choose not to. And that's where the free will comes in. So really, anything we look at, anything that is part of our human life is part of the soul, and vice versa. And so it's time to bring the soul back. It's time to start understanding and reconceptualizing why we struggle, how we heal, how we move beyond some of these things, because that is where it's at. That is what doing our work means. That is what bringing ourselves forward is all about. And that's what that conscious evolution is all about. And so this is the last thing I'm going to say about how, for right now, I always have something to say, but for right now, this is the last thing in this video I'm going to say about how the human condition is related to the soul. The concept of conscious evolution itself is all about the human condition. So as far as we know, humans are the most conscious beings on this planet. Now, I'd probably beg to differ when I think about animals, because I'm an animal lover. But we have a brain that is supposed to be functioning. We're supposed to be figuring things out. We're supposed to be evolving beyond whatever it was that was holding us back or keeping us stuck. So once a human becomes conscious of what the dynamics are and what this is all about, and how the soul is related to really our human condition, and how we change behaviors, really, anything that we can become conscious about that's going to bring us forward, that is the consciousness of the human being. That is the consciousness, basically, of bringing our souls forward as we evolve as humans. So scientists pretty much believe that our bodies have evolved about as much as they're going to. Now, we're going to change shapes, and depending on what country you live in and what the health styles are like, it may be a little different. But the human body has evolved about as much as it's going to. However, the soul and the psyche, and basically our conscious evolution, can be indefinite. It can be infinite. It can keep going and going and going if we choose to. And that's the whole point, is that consciousness, that awareness of, wow, I could outgrow these old patterns, is the human part of us. And once we kind of open up and awaken to that, then we can keep growing, keep healing, keep clearing the slate from the things that held us back before. And then we evolve both as a human and a soul. So again, that last golden nugget is about how we consciously evolve. And so that conscious evolution is a big part of our process. And I cannot say that enough. And, as someone who had a lot to overcome, a lot to grow through, a lot to understand, I love talking about this because my life is so much lighter, it's so much cleaner, it's so much less complicated, really, because I understand the soul. And I want to bring that to you too, because to me, and these are the words I use often, is that I want to bring that ancient wisdom to the modern soul because it is priceless in getting you where you want to be. So I hope this helped. I hope it really made you kind of think about things, look at all of those things, related to health or relationships or jobs and career, and how this could be part of your soul's path towards your evolution. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day, and I'll be back soon with more soul wisdom to help bring you forward, and more ancient wisdom for the modern soul. Take care.